is the fantastic Ardnamurchan Peninsula. Right, well, I'm over on the west coast and in a beautiful place. Oak woodlands descending to the sea. It's a bit early for the sort of best fall colours, but everything's sort of glowing a bit golden already. But it's been an eventful morning. I decided to walk over to this sort of peninsula, and it looked like there was an easy route, but there was a stream in the way, so I went round the stream, through the woods, crossed the stream, came along. And to get to where I am, you have to sort of get across part of that ground over there, and stood on what looked like a decent piece of ground. Turns out it wasn't. I ended up to, yeah, more than waist height in the water, in the bog, so I had to crawl out. The worrying thing is, so I might officially be a one camera household. I'm gonna leave it to dry out a bit more. I think it's okay. I've taken the battery out, so I'm gonna leave it to dry a bit and just have a look and see what I can see. But I think the photographic opportunities here are really good if I don't end up sinking again. Still, beautiful place. I'll just do a small 360-degree spin of where I am. Morning. You see, I've woken up, it's still quite early, and it's misty. And it's looking really stunning. The problem I have is that it's a really good time for photographing landscapes. There's absolutely beautiful mist over the sort of west coast of Scotland with these little islands sticking through. But there's also quite a lot of red deer around on this sort of mossy, boggy area close to where I'm staying. And as I've been driving across it, I keep coming across these groups of red deer with some really mighty bellowing going on. Now, do I go for landscapes, or do I wait until the sun's going to hit this mist and set it on fire? It's going to be stunning at some point. If I can get a group of deer like this one, and I'm next to a passing place. Oh, you don't have to run away, darling. You alright? No, don't run away. She's gonna give me one shot. She's gonna give me one. And look at me, look at me. Oh, oh, that was a shame. I'll show you the photo I did manage to take. Ah, but deer in absolutely beautiful red light. Oh, why did you have to run away? I wasn't going to hurt you. Right, I think that's... but look at the landscapes over there. I'm just going to explore on this road a little bit further. See if I can find a really quick landscape to photograph, and then get back and try for these deer. Oh, this area is achingly beautiful. So oh god, I'm spoilt for choice at the moment. Right, I'm afraid I'm rushing here. So I've got this heron sat on a rock facing the sun there. I've got this most amazing light behind me. Right, just concentrate, Ian. Histogram looks okay. So you're going to drop one down a bit lower. Have more of the jetty because the really good light's sort of gone from the other side. So I'm at f11, 40th of a second. No filters, no nothing at the moment. Histogram looks nice. Light's gone from the other side. Is it going to come back anytime soon? I'm not sure. But I quite like this. I quite like it with a light over here. Right, I'm going to stack the focus, so end it up here. Then I'm going to bring it back and focus on this rope, this little blue rope that's lying just in front of me. Okay, then check that, that's quite an interesting image, that. Yeah, nothing's burnt out, the horizon's level. Do I stay here or do I run back to try and photograph deer? Unfortunately, the deer never turned up, so I decided to head back close to the holiday accommodation and have a little bit more of an explore. And I was glad I did. The day was perfectly still, beautiful light and really good reflections. So I spent a bit of time taking panoramic shots of this bridge. Overall, it was a great day and good part of a great trip. However, there were a lot of lessons learned, so I'm going to carry on now and look at some of the images I took and discuss some of the things that I think I could have improved and that I will plan to improve in the future, and also show you some of the best photos I took as well. So enjoy. Right, so I'm now back at home and I thought I'd do a second part of this video, which is looking at some of the lessons I've learned. Now, I'll admit I'm a bit rusty still on photography. I took a few years out for health reasons to try and get myself back into a reasonable-ish shape. And I'm relearning things, which I actually think makes this channel probably more interesting to some people, because you're not dealing with somebody who's, quite frankly, forgotten what it's like to be a beginner photographer. So what I'm going to do is have a look at some of the images that I think have worked, some of the things that could have been better, and look for a few sort of hints and tips. Now, while I was there, I spent quite a lot of time taking panoramic shots, such as this one. And another one that I really liked was this one. So this is a stitched panoramic. There's plenty of tutorials on how to do them. The biggest problem with them, for me, on this trip was getting my tripod level. It was an absolute nightmare. The amount of time I spent on rough ground trying to get it level was absolutely appalling, and I could have taken more shots if I hadn't spent so much time trying to get the tripod level. It really did make that much difference. So I've now invested in a piece of kit which I'll be doing a review video for shortly, which means that I can get the tripod set up in 20 seconds instead of sometimes I think it took me 5 minutes to get the tripod ready and get the camera set up. So this is a major tip. I said there'll be another video coming up, a review of this product. Only cost £40, which I was very pleased with. But I love this image because of those colours, because of the sort of contrasts. Over here you've got the sort of older trees, the older sort of pines, you've got broadleaf trees coming down, you have the sort of plantation in the background. It's just a nice scene. It really sums up that area. So yeah, panoramics, I've loved panoramics. I'm so pleased that now they're quite easy to capture. I started off photographing with a Yashica 124G, which was a 6x6 medium format. And I always felt really constrained. I was very happy with some of the results, but I would have loved to have been able to have the sort of panoramic bigger image. At the time, the photographer was a guy called Colin Pryor, whose images were just amazing, taken with a 6x17. I was always so jealous, but yeah, that camera would have cost a fortune, and I was a student. But now to be able to get panoramics really means a lot to me. Another major lesson that I learned was about making sure that you have the stuff you need. This is an image that I really like. You may recognize it from the intro to the video. It was raining dark with these shafts of light, and one just perfectly illuminated this rock with a heron that you can just about make out on the top of it. And this image was so annoying because for the majority of this trip I couldn't find my polarizing filter. It turned up on the last day, and it turned up basically where I always keep it. I don't know how I missed it. So one change I've made since then is I now have a bag. Part of the problem before is that I would go biking stroke taking photos, hiking stroke taking photos, just taking photos and taking photos from the car. So I ended up taking lots of little pieces between places. And doing that is very easy to lose stuff. So I've now got this. I found it, I had it before, and in there I keep all my stuff. And if I decide to go cycling, I can put it into my cycling bag and away I go. If I decide to go up a mountain, it goes into my big rucksack. It has batteries, it has GoPro attachments, it has filters, lens cloths, all the sort of little gubbings that you need when you're taking photos. Because this image here, if I'd have had a polarizer, I could have done a much better job. The thing I loved about this image is this combination of the kelp, the bright yellow kelp with the yellow autumn leaves, and the contrast between the brightness of this area of rock and the area how it's lit up with a black background and the black water. Now I've had to play about a bit to get this water as black as I want it, so it's kind of looking a bit oversaturated. I probably will try and reduce the saturation on this a bit, but I really wanted to be able to sort of see into this and show, you know, how the forest goes from the land to the sea. The forest doesn't end with a high water mark. There's a different type of forest underneath. Another image that I would just thought I'd go back to is this one. This is the pier, and I'm a bit annoyed with this simply because when I've gone back to the video, the actual GoPro footage looks so much better than the photo here. I still like this picture, but I wish I'd gone much wider. I don't know why I didn't go for a much wider angle lens. Lastly, second to lastly, I thought I'd go back and show, this is basically the area I was staying in, and this here at the front is the Bog of Doom. Now I know photographers love to say, oh, I had a disaster, and then you find that what they meant by disaster is there was one stop over and an exposure which they then corrected in Lightroom. Now I was up, to be honest with you, probably nipple height in water. I was actually a little bit scared, and I really thought I'd killed both my camera, my 5D Mark II and my 100-400 lens. I thought I'd killed them. So it was a bit worrying. But then again, this boggy is nice to take photos of. I really like this image. It
kind of has that west coast feel. You've got the brooding skies, the brooding mountains, the line of sort of white pretty cottages, and the sort of boggy ground in front of it. It's actually one of the favourite images of the trip. Deer. I didn't get any really good photos of deer there. Managed a couple on the trip. This one was posing beautifully, and classic sort of silhouetted stag on the skyline. I did get some really good deer images, but they weren't over on the Ardnamurchan Peninsula, and I will be doing another deer video. I've got quite a few more videos planned, so please like and subscribe for the channel. My greetings cards are also now available, so if anybody's interested, please let me know. If you're interested in stocking them as well, that'd be great. Just also to say that I'm going to be doing some different types of videos. So I'm going to be doing some very short videos, which are more for people who have bought greetings cards with a sort of little bit of information on the species. I'm going to be doing some really long videos, which are more sort of going into depth with the editing. So I'm going to reorganize the channel a bit. But all I can say now is thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learnt something. And if you get the chance to get out to Ardnamurchan, please do so. It's a wonderful place. Thank you.